The Mass K257 falls into the stream of the so-called Credo-Masses. The name is derived from the long setting of the Credo, a practice adopted on many occasions, including, among others, Mozart's own Kleine Credo Messe K192 and later on Beethoven's Missa Solemnis. Hello everyone, I'm Gianmaria Griglio and I welcome you to a new episode of Conducting Pills. If you're new here, this channel is all about classical music, score analysis and conducting tips. I want to thank all of my patrons for making this series possible, for your continuous appreciation and for your suggestions like this one coming from Filippo. And now, on with Mozart. The movement is the third one of the Mass, following the canonical division of Kyrie, Gloria, Credo, Sanctus, Benedictus and Agnus Dei. Split in an ABA structure, what immediately catches the attention is the motive on which the word credo is built. Two notes, which repeatedly come back throughout the first and last part of this movement. Mozart begins with a clear statement in a forte dynamic, followed by a repetition of the same two bars in piano. The same word starts off the phrase on bar 5 with a powerful descending line, reinforced by the addition of trumpets and timpani in the orchestra. Interestingly, Mozart moves toward G major, hinting a classical change of key to the dominant. But right after a dominant 7th harmony takes us back to C major. The piano dynamic on the words et invisibilium, referring to God, the creator of all invisible things, not only balances the phrase, but also whispers of something that men cannot see or comprehend. Notice that the trombones, generally doubling the voices, are silent in this passage. While the text would go on directly with the words et in unum dominum, Mozart reiterates the Credo 2 notes motif and uses it to modulate to G major before moving on to it. The phrase that follows is jubilant. Notice the rhythmical pattern infusing energy to it. The Credo motif returns again in the soprano and altos, while the tenors and basses move on to the next section of the text, Deum de Deo. Approaching the end of the first section, the excitement intensifies with the ascending violence scales. But on the words descendit de celis, came down from heaven, a sudden piano dynamic underlines the humbleness of men before God. Notice that on the word descended, the line moves down in the tenors and basses following the action of the words, while it moves up in the sopranos, as in men looking up to heaven observing the scene. Finally, 4 bars of the Credo motif suspend the phrase before the B section of the movement. For the et incarnatus est, Mozart changes to a more intimate tone. The meter switches to 6/8, the tempo slows down to andante, and the key moves to A minor. The choir leaves room to a quartet of soloists. The rhythm typical of the old Siciliana, a slow dance found in so much Baroque music, gives the piece a constant cradling movement until a series of offbeat forte and piano dynamics interrupt the flow, underlying the moment in which God became man. Notice the return of the C major key. On a C pedal, the drama explodes on the words Crucifixus, sung by the choir. Answered by the soprano and alto solo, in a more submissive C minor, in piano, on the words Etiam pro nobis, he was also crucified for us. The phrase is repeated, and a fugato-like moment begins with the soprano followed by the altos, tenors and basses. Notice how the line is transformed, enriched, and not simply doubled in the strengths, adding an extra layer of drama. As this central section reaches the end, a downward chromatic scale keeps the suspense up. As we've seen in other episodes, Mozart made use of chromatism in many of his compositions to create a sense of tension or wonder. The reprise of the A section is fairly straightforward. One bar of the orchestra reintroduces the Credo motif. The section is shortened and accommodates the remaining text. We are in C major again, celebrating the resurrection on the words Et resurrexit tertia die, and on the third day he rose again. But it's not quite over yet. Mozart still needs to set two strophas to music. After arriving at the point in which he moved to the B section, he introduces a quartet of soloists on the words Et in Spiritum Sanctum, and in the Holy Spirit. Notice the chromatic scale at the end of the phrase. This delicate moment is interrupted repeatedly by the Credo motif. Until the joy explodes for the unification of the Catholic Church on the words Et unam sanctam catholicam and apostolicam ecclesiam, in one holy Catholic and apostolic church. Various elements return in the coda of this movement, but especially the Credo motif, which reversed also serves as its ending. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel by clicking the subscribe button right below this video and ring the bell so that you will get notified every time a new video comes out. For more in-depth analysis, conducting technique and conducting exercises, look on my website where you can find more than 100 videos and follow my Facebook group. And if you want to support this series, you're always welcome to do so on Patreon. All the links are in the description. Let me know in the comments what you think about this piece and if you have any suggestions for future videos, and I will see you in the next episode of this series. In the meanwhile, please continue to enjoy music and be well. Ciao!